All right, so you saw the title, so you know that this is my first ever knife purchase from the company Knafs. I've watched a lot of their videos. I'm familiar with their products. I have a couple of Ben's designs, I like his knives, but I've never bought any specific Knafs products. And I went kind of all out on this one, so I had a little bit of buyer's remorse, but this will be an unboxing, see if I overcome that buyer's remorse. And mainly it was because I've never paid over $100 for a knife before. And this one, all in, all out the door, was 167. I bought it off of Whatnot. They were having a Halloween sale, so they threw a lot of extra goodies into this packet, into this package, because they were doing like trick or treat where you grab stuff out. And I had been interested in this knife, and I got caught up in the bidding, and I bid it. And it's starting to make me wonder if my budget knife days are over. For the last, I don't know, 4 years, since I've been buying pocket knives, they've all been budget knives, sub 100. I do have a couple knives that are over 100, but I usually buy them used, like the Spyderco Paramilitary. I bought that used, so it did not cost me that much. The Kershaw Launch with the Magna Cut blade, I bought that. Well, I didn't buy that. I cashed in Cabela's points to get it, so it didn't come out of my bottom line. The only knife that I paid over $100 for was the Cold Steel 8010. And it's a huge slab of S35 VN, and it's very nice and solid. And I paid $120 for that. But I've never paid over $100 for any other knife. So you probably want to see what I got. This package is opened, but I have not looked at the stuff inside. You probably won't believe me, but I have the same name as my son. So sometimes my packages get open before I get to see what's in them. And there's a lot of stuff in here. Stuff's falling out already. So I don't know what they've thrown in here, because it was kind of like a trick or treat thing, and you know how fast stuff happens on Whatnot. This is a pin, the Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah, let's start a cult. I've never seen that before. That's crazy. I didn't show this knife. It's not a $100 knife. This is a $50 knife. This is a Kaiser harpoon, mini harpoon, and so about a $50 knife. Bought it on Amazon. I really like it though. It's a great pocket fixed blade. We'll save the knife for last. I'll maybe kind of talk about it while we go here. More pins. I think that's Gary the cat, the space cat. That's a Knafs kind of theme that they do. So my daughter loves cats. She might end up with that. We'll see. Pocket Sharpie, Knafs. That's cool. I didn't know that was in there. I have a bunch of pocket Sharpies. I love these little guys. You can put them on a keychain, but what I usually end up finding that I do is put them in a pouch or something. Trick or treat candy. Green Now and Later. Green's my favorite color, and I love Now and Laters. So that's all right. I'm not sure what's in there. So this, I did see them put in the packet while they were doing the auction. This is a bronze booster bead. So it's supposed to look like the booster off of a rock, because most of their stuff is moon themed. And that, you know, the designs that they use on Lander 2, Lander 1, you know, most of the Lander series, to me, they're kind of plain Jane. I know they do that on purpose because they upload the code to the internet and people can print their own scales and do that kind of stuff. And so they want to make them kind of utilitarian and easy to disassemble and put together so that people can customize them. But that style has just never really appealed to me that much. I think the scales are kind of niche or kind of kitsch. You know, they appeal to a certain group. But when I saw this knife, and let's see what's in here first. But when I saw this knife, I saw the video that Ben did, Oh my goodness. Something small came out of there. Okay, this is, these are replacement thumb studs, it looks like. So I almost lost them. Maybe titanium ones, I'm not sure. That's cool. I might have a knife I can use those on. And then it looks like a pad. So all in, I mean, this has got the baby banter on it. Another one of Ben Petersen's designs. But when I saw the YouTube video where they were talking about this knife, Ben was interviewing the designer of it, or the collaborator, I guess, Jeremy Siers. And I was not familiar with Jeremy. I found out he's got a huge YouTube channel, and I probably should have known about him. But he does a lot of outdoor stuff, whiskey, cigars, firearms. I don't smoke or drink, so maybe that's why I wasn't familiar with him. But the guy's got good taste, and when I saw that version of the Lander 2 that he did, it got me pretty excited. After that video, I went and checked them out, saw how much they were, and realized I wasn't going to buy one because I think they retail for, at least on the Knafs website, they retail for $195. But when I was watching the Whatnot auction video, they were selling, they had a couple blemished ones. So a blemished knife is kind of like a branded title on a vehicle. Something didn't quite turn out right or didn't meet specs, and so they didn't sell it at full retail. And I don't know how much of a discount they normally do on the blemished ones. I'm guessing, you know, they probably sell them for 20, 30, 40% or $40 less. So I paid quite a bit for this at $167 for a blemished knife. Now I got the little pad, I got the $10 booster bead, a couple pins, and a thumb stud. So maybe I got another $20 worth of stuff here, which would bring the cost down to around 150, 147, 150. So, and the now and later is probably worth 25 cents. So, you know, everything adds up. So not too bad. You know, I would have preferred a tool burrito or one of the other prizes they were given, one of the small Lander 6s or whatever it is that they're given. That would have been nice, but or even a poster. I like Ben's knife posters, but this is still cool. But anyways, back to the knife. Jeremy Siers seems like a cool dude. I've gone and watched a couple of his videos recently. He's just designed another fixed blade knife, and the guy's got good taste, because everything I would want on a knife, it looks like he included in this. It's got a crossbar lock, but it's Kaiser's lock, I believe. It's the clutch lock. I think Kaiser's the one that comes out with the clutch lock. Let's see what else is in here before I go too crazy. And so here's some adjustable Omega springs, because you can adjust the clutch lock. That's one of the interesting things about it that they've iterated on. The Benchmade Axis lock was having a clutch lock. And so I don't know if there's anything else in here. Whoopee, it's a beginner's luck. It's a funny saying. You can do it once, show us again. It's got some knife maintenance stuff there. Shows you how to take it apart. So yeah, here. So you can see the Omega springs in there, and it shows how to disassemble the knife and how to adjust your crossbar lock to increase or decrease the tension if you want. So that's kind of cool. I'll put all this back together later. But and I've never had one of these in hand, so I'm hoping I don't feel disappointed here. But so far it looks pretty good. It's got burlap micarta handles, and I really love this chevron pattern on it. You know, the black, it's mostly black. There's maybe a hint of brown in it, but that chevron pattern on the micarta, I could tell that was going to have good texture, that it was going to feel nice in the hand. It's got Jeremy Siers initials on the pocket clip, and it feels sturdy. It's got flush mounted screws, So the pocket clip is nice, and it's reversible. It's got a plate that goes in the other side to make it nice and flush and reversible. I really like how they did the hardware, how they did the center screw there that's holding the scale on, and how the pattern works out from that. It feels good. Not too slippery, not too anything, and that micarta is going to patina really well. So this Kaiser is the OEM on this, even though Knafs is the brand, and this is a blemished one. So you can see it's got their little smiley face with the X eyes on it, and to me that's actually really cool. I like that little mark on it. I think that's a cool way to mark your blades as blemished. Already this has got great action. The crossbar locks just like it should be, and this had bronze anodized titanium thumb studs, which is another thing to show what great taste he has. You know, the micarta with the bronze and the black and the acid washed blade. I mean, it's a drop point with an acid washed blade with micarta handles and a crossbar lock and bronze hardware. That speaks to me. That's a good looking knife, and it feels good too. The one thing about Knafs Lander series, with them being, like I was saying, so kind of basic or utilitarian, is they're going to fit a lot of hands, and they're going to feel really nice. And so this knife from Knafs Jeremy Siers collaboration is no joke. It feels good. It's good quality, like Kaiser. Kaiser is known for. Even though I still have a little heartburn about paying as much as I did for this knife, I probably would do it again. This is going to make an awesome everyday carry. It's probably going to be my primary everyday carry for the next little bit. Good jimping on there. That's rough jimping, really rough jimping. You know what else I just noticed? That's got a sharp spine on it. Not that you'd want to scrape a fire still with it, but it does have a very sharp spine. I'm sure you could. I don't know what would have been blemished about this knife. I'm trying to see if I see any flaws in the handle. The pocket clip looks okay. Maybe the handle was just a little rougher than they wanted. Maybe there was something on the acid wash. It looks like there could be a little scratch right there on the blade. See that little scratch? You're gonna get some of those from use anyways. The Knafs logo. Let's check the blade centering. I don't see anything wrong with the blade centering. That looks really good. I was just looking at the other markings on there. I can't quite tell what that is. It might be a very faint logo of some kind on the back there. Maybe the logo didn't come out good. Everything else on it seems perfect. It seems like a heck of a knife. Do I think it's a little overpriced for an S35 VN knife with micarta handles? Maybe. The Spyderco is an S30V, and they retail for about the same price with a G10 handle. This is a lot bigger knife, and I think the Spydercos now come in S45 VN. So sharpened edge, pretty close to the same because of that finger choil there. But this is the Spyderco is a USA made knife in Colorado, whereas this is an overseas import. So that, to me, with it being an import and with it only being S35 VN for a $200 knife retail, seems like a lot. But again, here is a micarta knife. Or, sorry, this one's got micarta inlays, this Kershaw, with an acid washed blade, Magna Cut. And look, it's got a much longer blade, much bigger handle, aluminum with the inlays. It's an automatic knife, and it is This one I think goes for around 170, 160 to 180 probably, depending on where you get it from. And it's an American-made knife. So $200 for this, if you're buying it full retail, seems like a lot. But I do realize it's a limited edition. It's a collaboration with Jeremy Siers. It's you know, got some work that went into it, and it's solid. So the way I bought it, where it being a blemished with some extra goodies on it, makes it a little more palatable. Otherwise, I would say, even as nice as it is, it's quite a high price for this knife. You could get other micarta handled knives, even in Magna Cut, I would think, for the same price. You could get other American-made knives under $200. Not a lot. I mean, the selection's a little slimmer, but places like Spyderco and Kershaw, they have knives sub 200 that are American-made. Anyways, awesome knife. I am worried now that I'm not a budget guy anymore. My taste is getting expensive. And so that worries me, because budget knives, there's so many good budget knives, and I don't want to fuss with carrying an expensive knife and having to worry about caring for it or taking care of it. That's why when I buy knives, I generally buy them used like this if I'm gonna get something premium. Even this one, when I paid for it, was used. It wasn't brand new, although it was really clean. It didn't have the box or anything, so it was a little bit depreciated there. But love them. Good brands: Cold Steel, Kershaw, Spyderco, and Knafs now. My first Knafs knife. And it's a doozy. It's a good one. I like it. Good job, Ben. Good job, Jeremy. All right, I've carried this knife for 24 hours now, so I kind of want to give my final thoughts on it. There's some things you forget to say in your first initial impression when you unbox it. But basically, in summary, this knife is just about what I look for in an ADC. One, it has micarta scales, which I really like, and I realize the contouring that they've done on those with the chevron pattern is going to take some extra work, some extra milling. That probably adds to the cost. Two, it's got a flat grind, which I prefer most of the time is a flat grind, even though a hollow grind is slicier. I like a little bit extra strength, and so a flat grind. The acid wash blade is great. The axis lock, the crossbar lock, it's probably my favorite lock, and so I really like that. It's just fidgety, fun. And everything about the knife is pretty good quality, and I like the color. It looks tactical, but not too tactical. It's not just black G10, you know, with a blacked out blade. The acid wash is nice. The bronze titanium thumb stud is nice. Everything is done well and subtle. The last thing that I didn't really say in the video is just how light this knife is. It's just under 2.7 ounces, and you compare that to one of my other favorite EDC knives, the Kershaw Iridium, which is 3.3 ounces. Now the Iridium, you can see, has a longer blade, but the Iridium's probably my ideal everyday carry knife. I just love that. But there are a couple advantages with this one. The micarta is not as slippery as the Iridium. And it has maybe a more utilitarian blade shape. And this also has S35VN compared with just D2 on the Iridium. But they're great knives. I'm happy to carry either one. They're in and out of the pocket. But that's what I've enjoyed about carrying this for the last 24 hours, is really the lightweight design. Now, I did notice I've never used a clutch lock like on Kaiser knives. And this has got kind of a snapping sound that you hear when you open it. That is interesting to me. I've not really experienced that before, but the action is great. It's very good. See, you don't hear a clicking sound on the Iridium when you're trying to open it. It's much fainter. So I'm not sure what's making that clicking sound. But this knife, the blade length, the overall length, it's just about perfect for me. I love it. 7.5 inch knife. Iridium's a little bit bigger, probably an 8-inch knife. But it's thin, it's slicey. It obviously cuts very well. You know, it'll cut anything that the basic user needs it to cut. Goes right through paracord, 550 paracord. It'll cut paper, no problem. It is just a very nice knife, albeit overpriced. And if all of Knafs knives they put this much detail and quality into them, they're a good company and I would recommend them. So I caught my child chewing on an electrical cord and I had to ground him, but he's conducting himself properly now.